biggest problem just often is just having that level of love and acceptance, and you can't really reach understanding if you just aren't open and accepting about it. So if you're just able to recognize that, not really looking at things in a solely strictly positive or negative light, saying like, oh, like the front is positive and like the back is negative, but it's just all human. You're
Yeah.
able to just really have that understanding. And obviously just we've definitely just come far as just a people, and just being human, but there is like certain understanding, whether it's around mental health or trauma, or just any negative emotion in general, like it's not negative, but people call it negative, like people will call sadness negative, etc. But
Mhm.
sadness is just as important as being happy. Like sometimes, like we don't know the benefits of just something like crying, like that, can relieve stress, it could relieve tension, it could relieve pressure. It's honestly good for you. Like crying is actually like really good for you. So um once I put that into like thought, that hey, like being sad in an appropriate manner, and just a human manner can be good. Be like feeling that anger can be good. It's like it definitely changes my perspective. And then it's unfortunate that we don't have a world that totally understands that. But just going back to what we were talking about before, it's like it's my goal to really share my story and really just create that understanding in the world.
Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Rohit Tigga. I should tell you where I'm at right now. I'm at a school in the Bay Area in Marin County. We just had a workshop here, and it went beautifully. Over 300 young people really having a place to talk about their mask, and they played the adventure, and they explored what it is that people would not know by looking at them. How beautiful those experiences can be when we're willing to let people see us, when we're willing to be seen. So I first connected with Ro on his Instagram page, I'm Here and Care. He has a high energy when he talks about things that he's been through, and he lets the energy out in really beautiful, visceral, physical ways. I think sometimes we take energy that we are carrying and we keep it in. And what I learned and what I saw in his early posts that I engaged with was he was hitting logs, he was chopping down trees, he was using that energy to get it out of his system while trying to give a meaningful message to people and his the people that follow him. I'm really thankful for this conversation. This conversation is gonna touch on some difficult topics. We're gonna talk about suicidal ideations, gonna talk about depression. But one thing that he really came to recognize was that he's not alone. In the work that he's doing to support other people who are going through similar things, he's finding people all over the world who also are trying to navigate it by themselves. I'm really glad that we got to make this connection. I really feel that there's going to be some seeds planted in this conversation that is going to allow us to do some work together, especially around the work that we're doing around the Million Mask movement. If you haven't seen or haven't heard, the company Rare Beauty, which is singer Selena Gomez's company and foundation, they did a shout out to the Million Mask movement. I mean, that's so amazing. We've been trying to find people who are passionate about mental health and mental awareness and well-being to help us get the word out. And we've worked really hard to do that. And this is our first influencer in this work that has shouted out the work. And we are thankful. And we're looking for more people who are passionate about this topic, because what we see over and over again is that it keeps happening. The silent suicides, the people who don't talk about it until it's too late, the emotional overloads until it erupts into self-harm, harm against others, harms against family members, harms against children. We have work to do. And I'm excited to be a part of this movement. And so if you have not yet made a mask, I invite you to do it now. If you've not yet found a way to get engaged with the work that we're doing, I invite you to do it now. The movement is growing, and we would love to do it with you, but we won't wait. We won't wait. We have to keep going because our young people deserve it. Our older people, seniors, deserve it. And we need your help if you want to be a part of the movement with us. So I'm excited for you to hear this conversation with Rohit Tigga, and I'm excited about what's coming next in the work of Ever Forward Club, in the work for Branch Speaks, and in the work for you. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. But get ready. The 24-hour relay challenge is coming soon. So if you are a walker, runner, hiker, biker, swimmer, you can take on this 5K challenge. We ask you to be in part of it. Share it with your network and your community. The link will be in the bio as well. So we look forward to seeing you. And listen, the 5K challenge, you can do it anywhere in the world. You don't have to be here in the Bay Area. There will be a live component, but you don't have to be here. You can do it wherever you are. And we will be glad to join you and to support this work around youth and our wellness. Take care, everybody. Thank you for being a part of the show. Welcome to the Taking Out the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Rohit Tigga. He goes by Ro. And I've been so excited to connect with this man here because what I've been seeing him creating content has been around getting to the heart of what people go through, getting to the heart of heart. Say it again a second, like if I can say it like that. I think I'm tongue tied right now that I'm even having this conversation. But Ro, welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast.
Hey Ashanti, it's very great to be here. Thank you very much, and I have a great pleasure with connecting with you. Just everything that I saw on your platform and page and everything definitely resonated with, and I'm glad that you're very excited to help people be authentic and free and themselves. It's a pleasure.
Well, you did it. You did it first. So I mean, you did it. So I follow the energy from you, and which is what made me wanted to reach out to you. How about you tell folks who you are, about yourself? What do you want people to know about you? And then we'll jump into the masks.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. So just like you said, my name is Rohit Tigga. I go by Ro. I am a Bay Area native, so born and raised in the Bay Area. As of right now, currently, I am working on I'm Here in Care, which is a mental wellness platform for youth. And throughout my platform, I've really been focused on storytelling and spreading positive messages. Just letting people know that they're not alone, that they're through what they go through, whether they're struggling with their mental health, with trauma, with abuse, with anything in their life in general. My main goal is to let people know that no matter what struggle you're going through, it doesn't define your worth, and you shouldn't have any shame or go through what you're going through alone, because we're all human beings and we're all going through it. So ultimately, my just not only my main goal career wise, but just life wise right now is to build out that platform. Is to build out I'm Here in Care, and it's definitely been a journey. It's been an emotional roller coaster, whether it's business wise, product wise, social media wise, community wise, especially. I think everything has been pretty crazy, but I think the beautiful thing is that there is those ups and downs, and it's something that's really valuable and close to my heart. So I'm very happy to be doing this in life.
Man, that's so exciting. And thank you for your passion, man. One of the things that we have in these conversations with men of all backgrounds, of all ages, is a space so that we can talk about the stuff that in my growing up, men didn't talk about. Men didn't talk about their feelings and didn't talk about what makes them sad or worried or doubtful and all those things. And I think what we get a chance to do here is to have these conversations. So just want to appreciate you. And this our format is pretty simple. We made a mask, and you get to, as a guest, get to decide who goes first. And then you'll share, if you go first, then you'll share, and then I'll share, or I'll go first, whichever one you choose. But you get to decide who goes first.
Perfect. And this is everything just is focusing on front of mask and back of mask, or everything front of mask, back of mask, city, age, gender,
Yeah,
etc.
just for the first part, we'll just you'll just do one of us will do the front, and then the other person will share the front, and then we'll go back and then back.
Oh,
And
got you. Okay.
some guests have decided they want to share both at the same time. So as a guest, you choose. You get to choose
Okay.
who goes first, and you get to choose the format.
Okay. We could do the first format that you said. We could do the back and forth, and I don't have any trouble with starting first, so
Okay, all right,
I'm down.
fantastic.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, this was a very interesting exercise to do, and I definitely love it. I also love that we incorporated the drawing. That was definitely a fun part. My drawing skills aren't too up to par, but it's all good. Yeah. So on my front of the mask, what I wrote down is
Can you show it? Can you show it?
emotion. Oh yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and see if you can get that. Yeah, it's kind
Awesome,
of like that.
awesome.
Just
Right
that.
on.
Yeah, yeah. So what I wrote down is emotional, sensitive, creative, and artistic, and just I overall just wanted to just demonstrate that just positive, optimistic vision that I have, and just energy. So that's what I just really wanted to communicate through the mask.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I really like that you put emotional on the front. Like that is often a word that people put on the back, like that they don't show. So it's really beautiful. I think it's probably in a rare time where I've ever seen someone on the front write that they
Hmm.
are emotional. So it's really beautiful. And I think as
Yeah.
it's a word that I have not used on the front, but I would say I probably would give that to myself as well as a word on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Okay, let me show you the mask I drew today. That's the.
Oh, that's all. Yeah. I love it.
I don't know what I was doing, but here are the words I wrote on the front. I wrote serious, hardworking, and dedicated.
Hmm.
And man, emotional is a beautiful one. When I think about like serious and hardworking, like I'm trying to get stuff done. I'm trying to we're building this organization. We're trying to like help people. And because I'm not just doing it for a job, because I'm doing it because I really care. I seem to some I seem I'm trying to like give myself a break. I take it serious. I take it serious, you know?
Yeah.
I take it serious. I take it personal when, we're trying to work with a school and it doesn't work out, right? I don't know if I take it personal, but I feel it like more than I wanted them to bring us in because I wanted a contract with them, but the kids that go needs unmet, right? The kids whose needs go unmet because no one's asking them how they're doing. No one is
Hmm.
checking in on how they feel because schools oftentimes get stuck into the academics and I think that's what so when I take it when I say serious, it's kind of like I have a heart for this work, right? And I think it sometimes is like I didn't even write funny on here. I think I'm funny. I think I'm funny
Yeah.
sometimes, right? I think I try and show I'm funny, right? I didn't even write funny today. Today was like a work face. So like it was serious, hardworking, and dedicated. No, no, it's like no love in there, right? No
Hmm.
care, no emotional. Although I think I try and show those as well. So that's the front.
Yeah. That's awesome, and it's great that that level of dedication is just very apparent with what you do, because what you do is something that you've really been through. And when you have these relationships with these kids who are going through it, you just want to help them get through whatever they're going through, because just like you said, um, a lot of them don't have those resources or just type of connections that they really need. And I believe that we were texting about this too. It's like that's everything, just love, whether it's from role models, parents, just loving people in general, just regardless of their status in life. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those things where we also end up with this opportunity for you and I to have these conversations, right? Like after we do the back, maybe you remember you're already thinking about this, right? Like
Hmm.
when do we have these kind of conversations with our friends and family and people we care about that go beyond the what we've already created as the things we talk about with them, right? Like you meet people
Yeah.
in whatever setting, you talk about certain things, but where do you get to go deeper with people? When do you make time to say, Hey, I'm gonna tell you something new today.
Mhm.
How about I just tell you something new today that you don't already know, right? And how do we go past the norm when people have earned our trust enough? Because everyone doesn't deserve to hear it or
Mhm.
shouldn't even have the right to hear it. But who are those people in our circle that we can go to and we can let them know us a little bit more? And so when we can be more known, I think I heard someone say once it's really hard to be fully loved unless you're fully known,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
when the person had asked me that question, like, where are you fully known? And I was like, nowhere. And thinking about that, like, who fully knows you? Well, and so if no one fully knows you, is it the question, the conversation was around, is it possible they can fully love you? And it's really like, oh, maybe they love what I let them see. So
Mhm.
I've crafted in all these different pockets, these parts, these characters, these masks, these
Yeah.
masks, right? And how do
Exactly.
we find people who will let us take some of the layers off so we're can be more full, authentic ourselves, right? That means like fully, all the good and the bad, right? The,
Mhm.
and so anyway, that's the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Are you ready? You ready to go to the back?
Yeah, ready to go to back. That's a good one. That yeah, no, definitely. I'm very excited for the back. So definitely the back. The back would be depression, suicidal thoughts, anger, emptiness, and feeling alone. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
back.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Ooh. Ha- hmm. Is there anything you want to say about any of that before I go to
Yeah.
my back?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess regarding that, I mean, uh, yeah. I mean, just with me in general with everything, I've come to learn and understand that whether it is depression, something very serious, or something, like even more serious, dealing with suicidal thoughts or anger or just the overall just emptiness with everything, that they are just parts of the human experience and human condition. So I've definitely built compassion for myself in dealing with those, and that's helped me deal with that in a healthy way, because I think a lot of times, and you've talked about this a lot, is that the biggest problem just often is just having that level of love and acceptance, and you can't really reach understanding if you just aren't open and accepting about it. So if you're just able to recognize that, not really looking at things in a solely strictly positive or negative light, saying like, oh, like the front is positive and like the back is negative, but
Mm,
it's just all human. You're
yeah.
able to just really have that understanding. And obviously, just we've definitely just come far as just a people, and just being human, but there is like certain understanding, whether it's around mental health or trauma, or just any negative emotion in general, like or it's not negative, but people call it negative, like people will call sadness negative, etc. But
Mhm.
sadness is just as important as being happy. Like sometimes, like we don't know the benefits of just something like crying, like that, can relieve stress, it could relieve tension, it could relieve pressure. It's honestly good for you. Like crying is actually like really good for you. So um once I put that into like thought, that hey, like being sad in an appropriate manner, and just a human manner can be good. Be like feeling that anger can be good. It's like it definitely changes my perspective. And then it's unfortunate that we don't have a world that totally understands that. But just going back to what we were talking about before, it's like it's my goal to really share my story and really just create that understanding in the world. And I know that you've said very similar things. So yeah, that's
Thank you, man. Thank you for that. And I want to, I'm gonna circle back, and I want to first of all thank you for sharing those things. And one of the things that we talk to folks on this show around is, you know, like you doing this work as a practitioner. Sometimes it's like, who motivates the motivator, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the person who's helping everybody, where do you get to go? Where do I get to go to get the support that I need to continue and growing and
Mm-hmm.
evolving, right? And so I think, thank you for sharing that, and I hope, as as you continue doing the work, that it continues to spread the type of care around the world that people have been looking for, and knowing that they know they when they feel it, they're like, yes, I feel it, I connect with that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let me show the back of mine, and then I'm sure, as you can see, the conversation is already happening, right? So it's not
Yeah.
there's no the structure is really beautiful in that way. Okay, here's the back.
Yeah.
I wrote in, intense worry, fear of failure, and self-doubt.
Mm.
That's one of the ones that are really present this morning. Intense worry, fear of failure, and self-doubt. And when I think about this morning, I'm just thinking about this morning. Like, I was I got up, and I've been telling myself, have a morning practice where I don't check my phone first thing. I take care of some meditation. I do some whatever. I'm take care of some self-care. And I something when I got up, alert popped up, and I'm like, huh? And then I went in, and literally for the next 20 minutes, I was like sucked into the putting out kind of like, entrepreneurial fires, right? Like, oh man, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
take care of that. I'm trying to email that and do this. And I was like, I looked up at the clock. I'm like, no, I was just ahead of the game. And now I'm like 20 minutes
Yeah.
behind the game, knowing that I didn't follow my own plan, right? My own plan was don't check it until you get to the office, right? And as you know, when you're leading a team, you can't always just be like, I'm gonna unplug right everything, because you're the person in charge, right? In so many ways. But I think today it caught me off guard. But that worry of just all the things that are going on, right? And I think as our team grows and as our organization and our movement grows, like I'm learning how to compartmentalize. Even though I didn't do a good job this morning, overall I'm doing a better job,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
2022, I'm doing a better job because I have a huge fear of failure. Like, I mean, I think I have big goals for myself personally. I have goals for this organization, and I want them to happen, right? And I think sometimes I worry that, well, what does it mean if it doesn't happen? What does that say about me? It's just a lot of internal voices, and I think that's where the self-doubt comes from. Like, all right, I didn't get into this to be running a business, but a nonprofit is a business. It's just a
Yeah.
business as anything else, because you have to pay the lights, you got to pay for the staff,
Yeah.
you're a
Exactly.
business. It just have a different profit model, but it's still a business.
Mm-hmm.
You want to help people, but it's still a business. So sometimes trying to disconnect the business capitalistic system we live in
Oh
world
yeah.
from the serving and helping and wellness world sometimes feels a little tricky. But there's no doubt that if we don't pay people, we can't run a team, right? And so those are the things that kind of come into the play as I'm in this next phase of the work. So yeah, that's the back of my mask.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I definitely uh, resonate with that. Especially when it comes to worry and self doubt. Oh yeah, and honestly, just all of it, even having that that intensity. Yeah, it's like when it does lie on all your shoulders, and like you said, you're doing this serving and wellness work, and it is something that's really impactful, and it is a business at the end of the day, no matter what the model is, and just being in this world with limited resources and trying to make everything work, it's tough. And yeah, I mean, the quote that I love is what you said. It's like who motivates the motivator. I think that's often the toughest part, just of not only entrepreneurship or business, but just life. It's just who will motivate the motivator. It's very tough, and it's important to acknowledge that one person can't do it all, and having that right support system is really important. It's tough. It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah. Well, and I think the question is, maybe as opportunities like this, like, uh, when you get to meet somebody else who's in, kind of similar work, that those people get to come together. I think in one of the quote, one of the texts I've mentioned, I said this mastermind group, right? And I've
Yeah.
always, have you ever heard of the book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
in
have
that
that.
book,
Yeah.
I've only gotten, I've tried to read it many times. I've gotten to certain parts a little further and further, but he talks about
Mhm.
this mastermind group, which is like a group of people who come together. This is where at the end of the book, which is where it gets really metaphysical or whatever. But
Yeah, he
it's,
talks about yeah.
it goes deep in some areas, right? But this idea, like, what would it be like to know that, well, if you're the motivator and people are looking to you, who do you get to look to? Or maybe you get to look to people who are also trying to help, right? Because then you all get to support each other in the next level of growth, right? I think um that's something that I've really been excited about. And I think regardless of age, right? I think I'm a little older than you, maybe. That's what by visual,
Mhm.
I would say I'm older than you, but I don't know, right? But what I think
Yeah.
is energetically, and the idea that you have decided that you want to be of service to others, right? In my early days, I wanted to be rich, and so
Mhm.
I wanted to be I was going off the journey of like go be an engineer, make a lot of money, and I realized that
Yeah.
that's not what's bringing me joy. I was doing it because I could do it. I think I was talented enough to do it, but it wasn't the thing I was supposed to do. And it wasn't until I went back to school and became a teacher where it was like now I feel like fully alive, right? In
Mhm.
this season, right? And so, how did you like just out of curiosity? How did you begin doing this work? I think you have a deep passion, like is evident in your posts, right? But how
Mhm.
did you? Where did it start? Where did it start? How did it start for you to begin sharing about yourself and sharing words of inspiration for others?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely came from a very personal place, and I'd love to share the story. So, it, I mean, just with life in general, just being born into this world and everything. I believe that, um, and this is why I just put emotional and sensitive on the front of the mask, because I've always had that level of sensitivity and just emotion. But I think not not only growing up as male, but also just as a person, just oftentimes emotions are very much shamed, and you're told not to act a certain way, and you're taught to just be in a box and not be who you truly are, or just show who you truly are. That's one thing that has always been core to me, just in general with that. So, uh, when it comes to how I started this work, I mean, it and I don't even know if I look at it as quote unquote work. I know I just use that word, but it's more of something that I'm just really embodying and just living in life now. Just really having that mindset for just letting everything out and just being myself. But yeah, when it comes to starting, I'm here in care. It all started when I was in a um really deep dark depression. Was just going through a number of things. It was like, I dropped out of college, I moved to New York City, I had like this new job at a startup and everything. So that went I pretty much like lost that job. I was going through heartbreak at a time for someone that I fell head over heels for. And then there was just like a variety of things in my life, just really not having the right people there for me and to support me, and just who really understood and was able to help me with what I was going through. So like in that time period, I just really just look to the internet and social media. I mean, that's what we do just in this day and age, just finding people who are going through the same thing, and whether it's finding other people for my own comfort who are going through the same thing, or also telling them that I'm going through the same thing. I really wanted to communicate that. So the biggest thing was that um I really shared everything that I was feeling just on social media. And then I received a comment from, at the time, was a 16-year-old girl who told me that she had been through so much trauma, whether it's dealing with things, with abuse and her family and foster care. And there's just this um, whole slew of things that she's been through that have been very painful. And she was on the brink of just totally ending it. She had it planned out to date and everything. So we exchanged Instagrams and we talked for around 2 weeks. And uh yeah, like there came a point in time where I didn't hear from her anymore, and I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? Did she
Mhm.
do it? Thankfully I was able to reconnect with her, and everything, and just really stop her from doing that. And it was a point in her life where it was like it was quite literally like a life or death situation, because it was just, just one step away, and then she could have been gone. And obviously this was just over at Instagram DM, just all online. So
Yeah.
thankfully she did not do that. And really, after that, that really, just after hearing her story just fully in a raw manner and everything, and just also really knowing and reflecting on what I've been through, and my story and everything, it just really resonated with me that um something that's needed in the world is just, that community and that sense of belonging, and that people dealing with anything, whether it's mental health or trauma or abuse or just anything emotionally in their life, that they have a place to go to, that they're heard and safe and understood. So that's when I went ahead and so like pretty much just after that, I actually got her name tattooed on my right arm, because she's someone who's like a sister to me, and we still very much talk to this day, and everything. And yeah, just after that, we or I started just everything with I'm Here and Care, with everything on social media and just the business, and just spreading that message, building that community, building out the product. And yeah, it's everything has just really come a long way since then. But just there's so much more to go. Yeah, so the girl that who's like a sister to me, her name is Simona. So whether it's my story or Simona's story, there are millions, if not billions, of other people who feel the exact same way. So just the goal of I'm Here and Care is just to really let people know that they're not alone, and to help people heal. And yeah, I am just very, very, very excited to continue to do this. It's definitely been pretty crazy, but whenever times get tough, I just always keep that story in mind, just what I went through, what she's been through, and just knowing that that we're all human, and that we're all going through these things.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for sharing the story. I think, as people on the outside, when they're like watching people do the stuff that they do, that they were called to do, like, I think sometimes it's, as an outsider, you just say, I wonder where that came from, right? I apologize about
Mm,
that. One of the things that you shared about that story is a person who heard you tell some of your truth, then felt compelled, felt inspired to then share some of their own truth,
mm,
right? I mean,
yeah.
imagine how often, I mean, how long you had held it to yourself, and how many people it can help out there, And I
Hmm.
think that inspires me a deeper way, because I've told people a lot of times that I make videos all the time on my phone, and they go into the phone graveyard, meaning they never get shared, right?
Yeah.
They just stay in there, and I'm like, what am I worried about? Well, I tell myself a story, I make up a story about the background and the backdrop and where my hair was, and and what the lighting was, and I make a big story, even though that when I was saying it, it was to help somebody. It was in the purpose of helping somebody, and then I let my part of my brain comes in who gets more analytical and is like, well, no, that's one actually too long, and that one's too short, and that one's too this. And I think uh, how many people could I be missing to support and help because I am
Mhm.
afraid and the
Yeah.
fear, right? It's probably more a fear of the failure part than it is like for forgetting that. But even if it sounds messed up, even if there's a plane going overhead and there's one part where it's messed up, like imagine if the message could help someone else, right? And I think
Mhm.
you reminding me of that. Like you never know who's just looking for a positive word, right? Who's looking for
Exactly.
a kind soul who can see past the facade, right? Past the mask,
Exactly.
which is what we're
Yeah.
trying to do in this work. And I want
Mhm.
to partner with folks like yourself. And like, we set a big goal for ourselves. I don't know how we're gonna reach 1 million masks. I don't really know. I it's sometimes a scary goal. It sounds beautiful,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we got nice shirts, but I'm like, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna how
Mhm.
are we gonna do this? How is this gonna happen? And I think I don't think it's because of the number million. I think it's because I want to help people, right? And I think um every mask matters. Every mask that someone makes, you the
Mm.
mask you just created, you're a part of the million mask movement now, right? And you are a I think that it's just this next phase of our work and being able to help. And that's why I really appreciate you for sharing that. And for all the young people in our work and ever forward who we've had the opportunity to meet. Like sometimes they're just looking for somebody to see them, right? Just to
Mhm.
just to hear them, just to care a little
Yeah.
bit more than than they may have known that you cared, right? And I think, and sometimes they're shocked that you care. Like I've met young people who were like, "Well, my own family don't even help. Why are you trying to help?" And I'm like, I don't know. I can't really answer that, right? I can't answer
Yeah.
why somebody else who you have decided are the people who are supposed to help you or not, and I can't tell you how we cross paths that I'm here to offer you help, but we can overthink it or we can like just recognize that that's part of our world, a part of our humanities, that we're going to meet people that are family, friends, people that we meet for a season, people we meet for a reason. There's all kind
Mhm.
of ways that we connect with folks, and I'm excited that you and I get to connect now and really figure. I think the work you're doing is fantastic. It's energetic. Sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, he's on. That was a fire one. That was on. They're always on fire, right? They're always right. And sometimes they're like, sometimes when you hit that tree, it's like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That one got stuck in there a little bit, right? There was some.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
so I'm
man.
like, man, keep it up, keep it. And I'm really excited. And I think the work that hopefully as we look forward to this season, maybe there's ways in which we can do something together. I think I was telling you
Mhm.
about us, connecting around this mastermind piece, but I also, we're going to put on an event coming up pretty soon for men in our, this one first event will be for men, right? But it's a place for men to come together and just like take off those masks and just have fun, right? And just play, right? And just really connect. And I think it's this idea that what if we could like not have to pretend we had it all figured out all the time. I mean, maybe there
Mhm.
are times we have to pretend we have to have it figured out. But what if it wasn't all the time? What if there was a place where I could be like, I don't have to
Yeah.
have any answers right now. I don't have to have any. I don't have to have it all figured out right now. I can just be,
Mhm.
and being me is just enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you ended that. Is that just being me is enough, and that's how it should be. That's how it really should be.
What is your like as you're moving forward? Is there? I mean, I think that in these conversations, pretty much we've already done the mask. Like,
Hmm.
I think you may have gotten to know me a little bit more. I've gotten to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
The experience is just like that. It's a two people coming together in this space to talk about our masks, and then we're that's it. That's the goal. Because I think if we can help more people around the world, maybe your younger self, if you knew that actually to get to know people deeper, to really have those connections that you were said that um that you weren't able to find at that moment, to know that maybe it was just like having a slightly deeper conversation with somebody
Hmm.
with 3 words, right? Or 6 words, 3 words on the front. What if everyone knew that they could have deeper connections if they just, with one picture and 6 words, was willing to share that with some other person, you know?
Yeah.
And everyone won't be as receptive, right? We know that's part of humanity. Everyone's not gonna be like, "Oh, great, I get to know you better." But to find the people who want to have those exchanges of conversation to go deeper, I think it can make the world a much better place for not only for our
Very
youth, but
much
definitely for even adults.
for everyone. Yeah. That's,
So what's next for
yeah.
you? What's next for you? Well, I guess the way we answer this, because that's not really the right question. Now, what's next for
Hmm.
you? What I'm my hope is that after today, you and I will find a way to, in some way, partner on a project. I think there's some things coming up in the month of March that I'm really excited about. We're going to be at South by Southwest,
Okay.
sharing the mask movement in 2 weeks. But after that, we come back and we're really trying to like really uh, push this work right into the Bay Area to schools. We're going to be asking all schools to um, invite their students to be a part of this Million Mask movement, right? And we're going to be um, partnering with schools all over. Those that want to have a deeper partnership, those that just want to make masks, they can do that. But really, not ignoring the fact that with this one picture and 6 words, we can help people. We can help our communities recognize that they're not alone. 'Cause I think that the idea of
Hmm.
feeling you're alone is finding other people who are willing to also share their mask, right? I mean, we've already collected like 60,000 of them. We have a long way
Mm.
to go to get to our goal, but like
Yeah.
with students at one particular school, like say for your high school, for example, if we were to go to your high school and do a workshop and like invite those students to make masks and to let them recognize that, wait a minute, people at this school are going through that stuff on the back. How's that possible? Everybody here is so perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
we get stuck in comparing our front of the mask. Well, we get stuck carrying our full story to everyone else's highlight reel, and we can also
Hmm.
miss that people are going through real stuff too, even if they don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we can, think about in the future to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to partner and like find ways just to uh just 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 to help people in general, because I know it's like just like you said, our missions very much align. And whether it's something as just doing just spreading that message, or letting people know that they're not alone, or having them go through the mask exercise, or doing a workshop. I think that there are just a variety and infinite ways to have that impact, whether it's offline, online, both. I think that's the great thing about this day and age now, is that yeah, you could connect with people in multiple ways. And I think having different messages on different mediums sometimes is important. You could make that just really great connection with someone in real life, and that's so needed, because I think what you were saying. I mean, nowadays you can have situations where a a child or someone just doesn't have that type of relationship with their parents, or they feel too much pressure at school, or they feel they're going to be judged by their peers or friends around them. So just having that trusted person around them in real life can be very impactful. And also, in addition to what they're getting online, because a lot of the times it can be really hard just to find a safe and healthy community online as well, because the internet has given everyone a platform. So that platform can be used to build people up, or tear you down. So just letting people know where to go online and helping them get those resources and community, and to find whatever they need, is also really important. And I think just using both of those ways to help people is very essential.
That's actually a beautiful spot right there. So,
Hmm.
how about this? Will you let folks know where they should follow you, like, and if you have any upcoming projects that you want people to be checking into, to let them know about that. I think we'll put all this in the show notes, and I think we have some of the information. But I want to make sure that you let folks know where can they, if they want to like begin to see, some of the things we were laughing about some of the stuff that you were
Hmm.
doing, but more so where they can begin to like hear the work that you're doing to serve the world. And I think that I have a feeling that this won't be the last time we hear from you on the Taking Off the Mask
Yeah.
podcast, but I also have an idea that there's some things in the works that I think could really be powerful. So, will you just let folks know how they can follow you, where you want them to engage with your content, and the mic is yours.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, so I mean yeah, it's all under the handle of I'm here and care. It's IMHEREANDCARE. So it's all under I'm here and care. And we're on pretty much every platform. The biggest ones and is TikTok and Instagram. Discord is also very great too. I believe we're at like 9 K members or so, and that's really great because then you get it's more than messages and comments on social media, but it's a place to actually build a connection with other people who are going through this the same thing. So that's a really big one. We're also on YouTube, and I also started a podcast too, which is on Spotify and Apple and everything.
Nice.
And yeah, and
What's the name of the
we also
podcast?
huh? Oh, what's
Was
the name of the
was Yeah.
podcast? It's called What's Your Story?
Nice.
So yeah, it's called What's Your Story? And it's just all about. I mean, just in the title, it's about just authentically and freely sharing your story, what you're going through,
Yeah.
and knowing that you're supported in finding healing and growth and loving yourself, no matter what. So I have that. Also, uh, if you look on like I have like this page with all the links and everything.
Okay.
But I also have this a community text line where I send people, daily support and daily quotes, and I know you're part of that, and we connected with that. So that's it's free to opt in and text and everything and get those messages, and it's also great to have that personal one-on-one connection.
You want to give
Yeah,
that number?
so yeah, I could go ahead and give the number. So
Okay.
it's 408. So yeah, and uh just note, yeah, this is yeah. So I believe anyone who's in North America, I believe actually I believe yeah, anyone in U.S. and Canada can access this. So it's 408-539-8459. 408-539-8459. That's what it is.
And we'll
And
link all that in the
yeah,
show notes, so you can always, if you didn't get to copy it down, we will have it in the show notes, and you'll be able to go directly to it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I very much encourage everyone to really check out the platform and everything. And there are lots of cool developments with I'm Here and Care. We'll be really just focused now on building our like um wellness platform where we're going to be giving people like community support and like resources and programs to help them on their healing journey. So really just building up that membership, and just also just I'm Here and Care wise, we're starting to really coming out with our first collection of merch and hoodies for I'm Here and Care. And the whole goal of that is just to let people know that they're not alone and they're loved. So everything that we drop and release will have that positive message, and yeah, we just want that to be really apparent in everything. So yeah.
Man, that's amazing, brother.
Mhm.
That's amazing, Ro. I am very proud of you, and I am glad to know you. I'm glad to know you, and welcome you to the Taking Off the Mask community of men from all over the world who are taking off their emotional masks. And thank you for already have done that process before we even met. But I just want to say, I'm here for you, and I care for you, brother, too. So, and all the caring you do for others, just know that I also am here for you, and I care for you, brother.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that, and yeah, it's definitely something really important, and it's important to always just go above business or work and everything, and know just human to human, person to person. It's like you are supported and loved, and I definitely want to extend that to yourself too, to anyone who's listening, and I just want them to know I just with everything I do, I always do my best to just be open, accepting, non-judgmental, and just to know that hey, that we're all going through certain things, and people shouldn't feel judged when they're opening up, because then you can't really get support. So that's the most important thing. So just you saying that that simple message of just hey, that that you're supported in what you're going through, like that very much means a lot. So I thank you for that, Ashanti.
Thank you, brother. Well, folks, if you have not yet followed this podcast, share this episode with somebody who you think can benefit from hearing from Ro, and his work with Hearing and Care. And we look forward. We'll have all the notes in the show notes, so all the links that he mentioned there. And if you haven't made a mask yet, you can do it anonymously. We just launched the new website. It's millionmask.org. millionmask.org. It just launched yesterday, so you get to be the sneak peek crew who hear about it. And we look forward to being in deeper connection with I'm Here and Care, and helping more young people around the country, around the Bay Area, around the world to realize they're not alone. Thank you, Ro. Good to have you today. Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Editing, videography is also by Ryan Louie. Graphics by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Kevin Romero. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast. As we hit this 1-year anniversary, we hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask experience. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you liked what you heard today, please like, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to us continuing to offer conversations that matter. Take care. See you soon.